talk. How are you guys trying to deal with that and prepared for it for Saturday?
Yeah, practice inside, and that's really all we can do. We have trainers, we have people that obviously keep us up to speed on what's going on, but other than what we're doing right now, that's it. That's all we can do.
Can't do anything on Saturday? I mean, I don't know if there's oxygen tanks. I mean, I guess it's something you don't even really think about.
You think about it, I guess, when things come up, and it's happened before, but no, other than, what can we do? We just take people's advice, and they'll make decisions, and we go play.
Have you talked to Kurt at all, or have you done anything, just wondering kind of what the status is, if the quality doesn't improve or anything like that by Saturday?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's probably something that, tomorrow or Saturday if it comes up. Right now we're just focused on getting prepared for the game, and we're planning on playing.
Just one of those unique things, I guess they're dealing with, the two up there practicing indoors and stuff, and just one of those things that just comes about once in a while?
Yeah, it's certainly rare. Yeah, this has not happened. This isn't one of the fall camp checklists that you go through. But that's the reality. I mean, we're in the situation that we're in, and I know people are aware of it. We're aware of it, but we're still preparing, and we're just focused on what we need to get done throughout our week of prep, and then getting ready to go play. And if something changes, then we'll adjust.
Is 3 days indoors, your three main practices indoors, and for a game, how different or rare is that for you? And is there anything you can't do or have to do differently because of that?
It's not really different as far as our prep goes. We haven't changed anything. Being inside, it is what it is. I don't think it really affects anybody. You're still able to do, especially with our facilities, you're able to do everything. So it's really just being inside. I don't think anybody's had any question, why we're inside, or is there anything we can't do. We've been here before, so we're good to go.
I know you're hoping to see maybe a little bit from Archie this week. Do you think he'll play Saturday, or what's his status?
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see if he plays. We'll know right before the game, but he's been out there, and we'll see where he's at.
And you had mentioned Quevedo a little bit, and Brad said that he was maybe, perhaps maybe the guy that played the best for you on the O-line. What about Eric? He's maybe a guy we don't really know much about.
Yeah, Eric did. He was one of our better players in the game, and Eric's a guy, you've seen him before. He's great size, got really good feet. Eric's just developing. He's come into his own a little bit, especially through fall camp. I thought he played well in the game. As the game went on, he was one of the guys that got better, got faster in the game. So his is just experience. He can play. It's just being out there and being experienced, or getting a little more experience when he plays. But he did a good job. I thought the O-line in general, we need to be a lot better, and we've talked about that already. But he was a guy that, in some critical moments, he shined and did some good things.
How have they handled this week, that O-line, in practice after a game that maybe at least early on wasn't what they hoped for?
Well, they come back and they prepared really well, I think. In meetings, they're focused. And again, I think it's not just the O-line. We're talking about them in particular. I think all those guys that played, it's just, all right, you've had a whole fall camp to prepare. Now you've got really 3 days to really practice and to go out there and physically get it done. It's just a different preparation. But as far as the O-line, they take what they've learned from the previous game. I think they've applied it in practice. We just have to play faster and more consistent. The O-line, it's really about consistency. You've got 5 guys, they got to do their jobs, they got to do it just right. They got to work together. And in the practices, when we've seen if there's not that, we're going to correct it. We're going to correct it and redo it. But those guys have taken, I think, a pretty good approach this week as far as just we've been in the game. We know what we did well, what we didn't do well, and apply it to practice. And we go play. We got to play a whole lot better and a whole lot faster.
You look at your starting 11 from that Troy game, and 6 of them arrived in that 2016 recruiting class. A lot of them have barely been here for over a year. What's unique about that group that's put them in a position to be such significant contributors early on?
Yeah. Well, I think every time you recruit a class, you want those guys. You'd love to have them come in redshirt and then play. Some of these guys you can marinate, some guys you got to microwave and put out there. You're playing some true freshmen. I think that group has prepared themselves. I think physically we've done a good job with them, just as far as getting them ready to play. I think the strength staff this off season and through the summer really did their job and did it well, and those guys are ready to play. And I think the preparation from the coaches, it's not that they're just physically ready, they're mentally ready to play. So those guys, I think they've just taken that approach to go out there and contribute, and then to put themselves in a 2-deep position. And then we get into the game, all of a sudden, they've elevated themselves into starting roles, and they've done a pretty good job.
What do you think you can find out your team on the road, Pac-12 team, with one of the more experienced teams in the Pac-12?
Yeah.
I know you guys are pretty young, but what can you find out about your team in a game like this?
Yeah, how we're going to handle it. A lot like the first game. You know, we went into Troy and thought, how are we going to handle adversity? You know, what's going to be our MO when something bad happens? You know, what are we going to do? And I thought our team responded pretty well overall as a group. Different element on the road. You're going to play in a packed house against a really good football team, a top 25 team, a team that you said has experience. We know that. So we're going to find out how we handle that. You know, that's a whole other element that you don't have in your preparation, you know, through a camp. You know, you got to go out there and actually do it. So a lot like the mindset in the first game, what's the challenge? The challenge is being on the road. The challenge is obviously the opponent. The challenge is going to be a lot of other factors. Can we handle that? And, you know, we'll know. We get on the plane and we start heading that direction. We get to the hotel. You probably start to get a pretty good idea how your team is focused. You know, are they ready to play? Are they preparing themselves mentally to get up the next day and go out there and compete?
Talked to Brett and Montel this week. They seem to have a pretty good relationship for two guys battling for playing time. How have you seen that relationship grow over the last few months?
Yeah, well, they're not battling, so there's no battling. I think we made that very clear. So we got two quarterbacks, and just like any other player on our team, if they deserve to play, they will play. So, you know, I think that's an old mindset. You know, you got guys that can contribute, utilize them. I think it'd be a complete waste if you have someone on your team and you're afraid of utilizing somebody because of what the perception of it might be. So those guys are going to be utilized in the game plan. I think Brett's had a really good week. I think Montel's had a really good week. Chase Cord is also right in the mix there. We know our situation, so he is also, you know, preparing himself if he had to go in there and play. So I think all those guys and that particular room and Coach Hill have done a great job in my mind.
The challenge of Washington State's defense brings. Brad talked about how they're kind of built for speed. You know, certainly that's a different twist than what Troy brought. When you look at their defense in that aspect, I guess, what's the challenge?
Yeah, I think this is, for Washington State, this is one of the fastest teams. Certainly it will play, but I think the teams that they've had, defensively, you've got 16 guys that have been starters at some point throughout their time, and guys that we faced last year. So they do have that. I think they're fast up front. They do a good job with their D-line and their front seven. I've been very impressed with them. And then the back end, you know, like you want to see, they communicate, they get in the right positions, and, you know, the speed factor is going to be different. And that's something that we're going to have to deal with. I think their defense is very good. I thought they were last year. So we got to go out there and we have to obviously do our part. But this is a more fast, physical team that we're preparing for.
Brad was saying yesterday, this is kind of why they come to Boise State, why you coach at Boise State for games like this. You know, a top 20 Pac-12 team on the road, ESPN primetime game. What just for the excitement level of this game, I guess, just going in and the opportunity you guys have, I guess, how's the team ready? How excited are you and everybody for a game like this?
Well, we'll know at the end of the day as far as readiness, and then, you know, throughout the Friday and getting on the plane and doing all those things. But as far as the excitement goes, yeah, they're really excited. They're excited to play in the second game. You know, from the first game, when you play in that first game and you kind of get that chance to experience something completely different. Practice is one thing, games are another. You do your best to prepare for it, but to go on the road and know there's a challenge there, to go on the road and play a top 25 team, to go play, you know, one of the best teams in the country, a great environment, an opportunity on ESPN, you know, a chance for these guys to shine. This is why you play college football, and certainly for our guys, an opportunity to go in there and, you know, we want to play our very best football. We've only played one game, but we want to show up and be a lot better in areas from game one to game two. And if we do that, then we'll put ourselves in a position to be successful and to have a chance to compete, which is exactly what we want. So the motivation factor is there. These guys know, you know, what we're trying to do ourselves internally, and then obviously, you know, what we want to do when we show up and go play.